Hi guys, and welcome to another Gas City Gaming Warhammer 40k 8th edition preview video. In this video we'll be taking a look at a couple new things about the Primaris Marines that were revealed, and I'll get into it right now. This video will be a little bit longer than normal because rather than have a reveal from GW, we actually had a lot of things that were leaked late last night. Now, I've said before, I'm not in the business of doing rumors, I'm in the business of telling you things that GW has released and confirmed are coming out. I've done some reading up about these things, and they seem legitimate to me. The fact that Warhammer Fest is this weekend, the fact that these all look right as far as formatting and rules and everything, the fact that they're photographs of a book, clearly, lead me to believe that they are legitimate, so otherwise I wouldn't be talking about them. So that's why this video will be a lot longer than normal if you're wondering about the runtime. But we'll just get right into it. If you want to see these pictures for yourselves, I know you might be watching this on your phone or something, I'll post a link to a website where they are posted in the description below. There'll be a link down there you can read them at as well. But for now, let's get rolling on our Primaris Marines before we get to the new reveals. So the first thing we'll talk about here is our captain in Gravis, or Gravis, I'm not sure the pronunciation of that yet, in Gravis armor. As an HQ slot, obviously, is our captain, takes up 7 power if you're doing your PowerPoints list. Your PowerPoint, that's going to become a thing, isn't it, PowerPoint? But anyway, he is a movement of 5 inches, weapon skill hitting on a 2+, ballistic skill hitting on a 2+, strength 4, toughness 5, which is a nice increase, has 6 wounds, so he can't be targeted on his own, has 5 attacks in close combat, 9 leadership, and a 3-up save. A captain in Gravis armor is a single model armed with a mastercrafted power sword and a Boltstorm gauntlet. Now, a Boltstorm gauntlet in shooting has 12-inch range, is pistol 3, so it has 3 shots, and can be fired while he's engaged in close combat still. It is strength 4 and does 1 damage, so it's essentially a pistol with 3 shots, a bolt pistol with 3 shots. His Boltstorm gauntlet can also be used in melee though, and it's essentially a power fist at that point, strength times 2, AP modifier of -3, and does D3 damage. When you're attacking with this weapon, you subtract -1 from the hit roll. So it's unwieldy. That's how they're kind of handling power fists now, is that they get -1 to hit because they're unwieldy. It also has a mastercrafted power sword, is strength user, so in this case strength 4, or whatever buffs you end up giving him, AP modifier of -3, and does 2 damage. So with that you can actually use that if you'd rather. If you're not going up against vehicles, you can do that if you'd like, but I don't see why. If you want to guarantee a couple more hits, but I'd rather make it, personally anyway, we'll see, I'd rather make it just wounding on 2s, potentially, if not 3s, and doing D3 damage apiece. I might get less than 2, I might get more than 2, but we'll see. It's interesting choices. Like I said, we get more viable choices, which is good, which leads to tactical depth and variety on our tables, which is a good thing. Abilities, and they shall know no fear. We don't get the explanation of that yet. Soon, but not yet. It has an Iron Halo, so that's traditional. It gives us a 4-up invulnerable save. Rites of Battle. You can re-roll hit rolls of 1 made for friendly chapter units within 6 inches of this model. So as long as this captain is the same chapter as other Marines within 6 inches of him, those Marines will get re-rolls on hits of 1. In melee and at range, it just says hit rolls. So melee and range, if the gold rules is written. Faction keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, chapter. So we have our chapter in brackets, that's whatever chapter they're in, Blood Angels, Ultramarine, Space Wolves, whatever. Keywords on its own are character, infantry, Mark 10 Gravis, Primaris, and captain. Big thing though is that toughness 5 and the rerolls of all hits of 1 could be a thing. Get on to our next slide here. Is Inceptor squads. These are the jump pack twin cannon squads you've seen pictures of. That these come in the pre-release kit, the introductory kit as well. They have movement of 10 inches, weapon skill hitting on 3s, ballistic skill hitting on 3s, strength 4, also toughness 5, mind you. So that's big. 2 wounds. The regular Inceptor has 2 attacks, and the sergeant has 3. Regular Inceptor has leadership of 7, and the sergeant has 8. They also have a 3-up save. This unit contains 2 Inceptor and 1 Inceptor sergeant. Each model is equipped with 2 assault bolters. So they have no dedicated close combat weapon. These are kind of cool, just jumping around, machine gunning people. So they have the Assault Bolter, has a range of 18-inch, type Assault 3, Strength 5, an AP modifier of -1, and does 1 damage apiece. So this is going to be wounding a lot of things on 3s, and stripping away a little bit of their armor save. They have, and they shall know no fear. They have Crushing Charge. Roll a d6 each time Inceptor finishes a charge move within 1 inch of an enemy unit. On a 6, that unit suffers a mortal wound. Now, I think that would be per model. It ends its charge within 1 inch. Now, you'll see a little bit later, we have our entire charge phase revealed now. But I think that would be each time a model, because if, you can kind of, same way you can charge now. The whole unit isn't going to be within 1 inch of your enemy always. So I would think that's a d6 per model that finishes within 1 inch, especially because you only get 3 at your base squad. How do I know that? Stay tuned. Meteoric Descent as well as another ability. During deployment, you can set up this unit in high orbit instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phases, this unit can use Meteoric Descent. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. The new kind of rule for Deep Strike, essentially. So faction keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, and Chapter. Keywords: Infantry, Jump Pack, Mark 10 Gravis Arbor, Primaris, Fly, very interesting rule about Fly, and Inceptor Squad. Now, the fact that this unit has Fly, we've had our fallback rule fully spoiled as well. Units with Fly can shoot after they've fallen back. So I can, Magical Dream World, an Inceptor with Toughness 5 can arrive, can Meteoric Descent in the movement phase, shoot, it's pretty decent weapon, possibly charge, 9 inches away, but remember you only have to be within 1 inch, so that turns into essentially only an 8-inch charge. The next turn then, they can fall back and then shoot again. Granted, they can't charge, but they can fall back once they've engaged and had their crushing charge into something. They can disengage or fall back and then shoot again. And when you fall back, you can move, as long as you end up 1 inch away from your enemy, they can move up to their full 10 inches away. So Inceptors can be really, really good. If you're wondering how I know this, stay tuned. We have a bunch of other things spoiled. That's going to be good, guys. Inceptors, I think, are going to be pretty good. Their points cost, we do have their points cost, is up there as well. Like, the Inceptor squad here is actually 1 more power rating than our captain, if you'll remember. Our captain was power rating of 7, Inceptor here is 8. The points cost reflect that as well. The Inceptors here are a point shy of our traditional 40. They're 39 points apiece. So they're definitely, you pay for what you get, what you pay for, in my opinion. They seem pretty good, but they are towards the higher end as far as point cost goes. Now, we're going to get into the spoilers that have been released. Again, if you can't quite read these because you're on your phone or tablet or something, or it's just little because they're photographs somebody took with a phone, there will be links in the description below. So, I'm going to kind of go over this as far as what is going to happen. I've made notes to kind of go over the main things, but please feel free to read through these as well. I've read through all of them. Just main stuff that's changed that we want to know about. So a unit still has to maintain 2-inch horizontal and 6-inch vertical coherency. So if there's different levels in a building, of course you can be on different levels, that's fine. Your battle round equals a game turn, which currently in 7th edition is a game turn is equal to your battle round. So both players get a turn, so my turn, your turn. That's called a battle round now. Like if you're familiar with Age of Sigmar, I think that's what they call it there. The battle round consists of your movement phase, psychic phase, shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase, and morale phase. So those are 6 new phases. Don't worry, we'll be getting into plenty of detail as far as those go. So movement. No part of the model or hull of a vehicle can move more than the distance shown on its unit card. So there can be no more, okay, I start this sideways, move 6 inches, move that way, because the hull then has moved more than 6 inches. So just eliminating that kind of semi-cheese movement people would do. They'd start a Land Raider horizontal in their deployment zone, pivot it being vertical, because pivot was a free move before, then move 6 inches. So essentially they've moved 7, right? Or whatever their pivot point was. Now they've changed that just to eliminate that, doing that essentially. Also, models with Fly that are forced to move off the battlefield because of its minimum movement speed is destroyed and removed from the battlefield. So, you know, your flyer comes on turn 2, you fly it around for a couple turns, fly it off an ongoing reserve. Not anymore. If that's what I take this to mean anyway. If it's forced to move off the battlefield, this is an exact quote, if you're reading along with this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, because then this would be an hour-long video for all these pages we have. But models that are, this is a direct quote, starting with are forced to move off the battlefield because of its minimum speed is destroyed and removed from the battlefield. So, same thing I would essentially feel, because you'd have to remove your flyer off because of its minimum movement speed, right? But it would go into ongoing reserves. In this case, the model is just destroyed. This is to go along with their rule of if something's in your reserves past turn 3, it's dead, it was too late to arrive at this battle. Not necessarily that it's dead, it just is no longer going to be a factor in this battle. In here they say, you know, it flew off, it's no longer, it's limping off the field, or it's maybe not retreating is the wrong word if you're Space Marines, but it's just no longer involved in this battle. I think this goes along, just like I said, goes along with their rule that you can't have reserves afterwards, so they don't want things constantly going into and out of reserves, when they've said reserves that are off the field after turn 3 are just not involved. So I think it just goes along with that rule. Now, our fallback rules here. If you choose to fall back, you must end your move at least 1 inch away from any enemy models and under your maximum movement. Now, they cannot advance or charge and cannot shoot unless you have fly. Now, if we go back to our Inceptors, we can see that they have fly, so they can shoot after they fall back. That's how we know that, which seems real good. So advance, when you choose a unit to move, you also then declare whether or not it will be advancing. You don't advance it, you know, move your 6 inches or 5 inches, whatever it is, and then advance. You do it all at the same time. Deep Strike happens at the end of the phase, so you can't strike. What is called the new Deep Strike model special rules for what we know to be deep striking happen at the end of the phase. So we've seen the Trigon, we've seen the Inceptors now. Those all happen at the end of the phase, and advancing happens when you first declare a unit to be moving. So you can't Deep Strike in and then declare, okay, and they're going to move and advance as well. Right? So Deep Striking happens at the end of the movement phase. Our Psychic phase, don't blame me for the size of these pictures, guys. This is what happened here. I just wanted to show you. Like I said, a link will be provided below. A Psychic phase happens in the following order. You choose your Psyker and power, roll your test, opponent rolls their deny rolls, and then you resolve the power. Now, a Psyker can manifest multiple powers if the sheet says so in the same turn. Depends on the Psyker's unit sheet. Unless otherwise stated, all Psykers know Smite, and other powers that they know will be stated on their individual sheets. To do your test, you roll 2d6, and it has to be equal to or more than the number on that it costs. So if power costs 8, it has to be 8 or more. Like we've seen with Smite so far, if you roll a much higher number than is required, you may get bonus effects as well. And the same Psyker cannot do the same power twice in a turn. So one Psyker can't do Smite and Smite, but if you have 2 Psykers, they can each do Smite. Your perils roll are still around. They are now on a double 1 or a double 6, and if you roll perils with a Psyker, there's no other tables or anything to roll on, saving time. They just suffer D3 mortal wounds. If a Psyker dies because of these wounds, each unit within 6 inches of him or her suffers D3 mortal wounds, and power does not go off if the Psyker dies from the perils, which is important now because it used to. But now they just, essentially blow up, becoming a human frag grenade. The deny roll, any Psyker within 24 inches of the caster must beat the caster's roll to deny. Only one Psyker can deny each power. So if I roll an 8 to cast my power, you have to roll a 9. An 8 tie does not work. You have to beat it in order for that power not to go off. Now, if you have 3 Psykers in range of mine, you can only pick one of them to deny that power. Maybe one of them gets a deny bonus or something, and that's the one you would want to pick, obviously. You can't attempt to deny with all 3 Psykers within range. You have to pick one and deny with only that one for that particular power. You could pick another one or the same one on the next power, but you can only make one deny roll per spell cast. Next up is our shooting phase. Shooting phase happens in the following order. You choose your unit that you're shooting with, choose the targets for it, choose its ranged weapons, and then resolve the attacks, rolling to hit, wound, saves, allocate, and damage. Now, just like always, shooting unit must have line of sight to its target unit. Sorry, I was feeling a little under the weather. Must have line of sight to its target unit, and cannot target units within 1 inch of friendly models. There's too much risk in hitting your own friends, even if you're Chaos or Necrons or Tyranids, stuff that don't really care about that. If a model has several weapons, it can shoot all of them at the same target, so your Land Raiders can shoot all of their things at one giant monster on the field. If a unit has more than one model, they can shoot at the same or different targets, so we knew that already. A unit can split fire at as many targets as it wants, but you must declare shooting what they are shooting at and with what before rolling any dice. So that's how I was hoping they would handle it, and it's how they are handling it. So if I have a unit of 10 Marines, 4 are shooting at that, 4 are shooting at that, 2 are shooting, 2 at special weapons are shooting at that vehicle. Okay, what are they shooting with? Okay, bolters, rocket launchers, whatever it's going to be. Now roll. Roll all those 4 at the same time, roll all these 4 at the same time, roll those 2. It's not just okay. It says you can roll 1 at a time if you want to, if that's going to make a difference, you can. But they're hoping to speed up the game a little bit. And it seems like really so far they are. There's less, for the perils table, for example, D3 mortal wounds. D3 mortal wounds to within everything within 6 inches if that psyker died. No more tables to roll on, right? No more tables to roll on, and then a leadership to roll on, and then finding out what power they lost. So 3 different rolls, whereas now it's just going to be 1. Anyway, back to shooting. Yeah, declare shooting at what they are shooting at and what they are shooting with before rolling any dice. Now, ones, the new rule of 1, which is in around Age of Sigmar as well, we kind of had it in 40k too, just wasn't official. Ones fail. Ones always fail. So going forward, ones always fail. You make your hit rolls, wound rolls. Wounds must be allocated to already wounded models in a unit, but models can be any model in a unit. So what that means is if I have something wounded from maybe that past shooting phase or melee phase, and you're shooting at it, I have to allocate wounds to that thing first. So, okay, I have 1 wound left on this Primaris Marine. He made his 3 up, up 2, now he's dead. And now I can allocate it to whatever unit, whatever Marine in the unit I want. It can be a Marine in the back if I want it to be, if I want to keep my guys in shooting range of yours, or it can be a Marine in the front if I potentially want those guys to die first because you're going to charge in. Either way, right? I get to pick now as the targeted player. I can pick what unit in or what Marine in there I want to die. Essentially, that seems morbid, but this way I can always leave my sergeants and special weapons to last if I want to. So models can be any models in a unit. Like I said, you can pick and choose. There's no longer have to remove the closest model to the thing that's shooting at it. You then make your saving throw and inflict, if they fail the saving throw, inflict damage according to the damage characteristic. Leftover damage from regular attacks does not roll over. Like we said, I think I might have said that wrong in previous video and somebody corrected me. Thank you for that. I do want to get these things right, so I appreciate the corrections. If I do get something wrong, please cite, though, just because I want to learn, I want to find out. So leftover regular damage does not roll over onto a model. So if you have something that does 3 damage against my group of regular Marines that all have 1 wound, only 1 thing will die. Mortal wounds, however, do roll over. So those D3 mortal wounds from that Psyker dying, if I have a unit of regular Marines, that's just 3 dead Marines if I roll 3, right? Because they will all roll over as a unit. Now cover, against range attacks, does have its modifiers, +1, depending on the adding to your armor save depending on the type of cover it is. Again, however, ones will always fail. So if you have Terminators in cover and someone's shooting at it with a -1 AP weapon, I'm in cover, so I'll probably get that 1 back and still just fail on ones. Charge phase. So here we finish the slide finishing our shooting attack once again. If they're moving too fast for you to read all these, probably there will be a link below you can read them in as well. Moving on to our charge phase, the order that happens is you pick your unit you want to charge with, pick the target unit, that unit will then get to overwatch your unit, and then you make your 2d6 charge move, or potentially make your 2d6 charge move. Now, obviously, you can't choose a unit. It has to be a unit that can make a legal charge, or something, it's can't be 12 inches away from a target unit. It can't have had advanced this turn, or fallen back, barring any other kind of special rules the unit may have anyway, or started within 1 inch of an enemy. You can select one or more enemy units within 12 inches, so you can make a disordered charge. Of course, your unit does have to remain within coherency. Each time a unit is charged, I type funny, sorry, I type up my own notes, and last night when I was typing these up, I got my shorthand. This morning I kind of forget. Each time a unit is charged, is chosen as a target, it can overwatch. So the same unit can fire overwatch multiple turns, which again in our 40k science fictional tabletop game makes logical sense, right? I'm not going to keep shooting at this. Hey, those guys are coming too. Keep shooting at this. Okay, they aren't coming anymore. Are you okay? Yeah, keep shooting at this. So if I charge with something 10 inches away, you get to overwatch it. You shoot me out of charge range. Okay, I'm going to charge with them now too. You get to charge overwatch again at that second unit. No more will one orc boy be able to absorb 10 Marines worth of overwatch and then the other orc unit get in fully safe. They will get to overwatch both, as long as you aren't engaged. If that first unit makes its charge, you can no longer fire overwatch. You can roll in, then after the overwatch happens, you roll 2d6, and your first model must be able to be placed within 1 inch of an enemy. If you cannot do that, you have failed the roll, and the unit does not move. If you do make the roll, though, and we proceed to the fight phase, you choose the unit you want to fight with, make a 3-inch pile-in move. You can move in any direction, as long as you end the move closer to the nearest enemy model. You then choose the target unit that you're going to fight against, choose the weapon you're going to fight with, resolve the attacks, hit, wound, allocate, save, damage, and then you make a 3-inch consolidate move, which is the same as your pile-in move. You have to move closer. Now, units that charged go first in the controller's chosen order. So if I have 3 units that charge, I'm going to pick, okay, 1, 2, 3, that order, barring unless you make an interruption. Then, following the active player gets to choose any following attacks that they have to make. So if I charge this turn, I make my 3 units that charge this turn, they go first. Then if I have any other combats, I still get that first choice. If I have no other combats to make, you then get to swing back at everything that charged. But starting with the active player, everything that charged goes first. Then starting with the active player turn, they get to pick what units to go first, and then you alternate. So essentially, if we have 5 combats and I charge with 3 new things, those 3 new things go first, then I pick the 4th one, and then you get to pick, and I get to pick. Then at that point, I've picked all 5 of my things. You get to pick what order you want to resolve the rest of your attacks in. So again, then after you resolve all your attacks, you make the 3-inch pile and move in any direction as long as you are closer to the nearest enemy model. So again, you're hitting wounding rolls. You can pick any unit to remove against, right? You don't have to pick things that are in base-to-base contact, which is nice. You can pick anything, so again, your better melee attackers, your sergeants, etc., you can leave till last. And then, same thing for allocating as well. You have to allocate to already wounded models, but you get to pick what to remove after that. Models that are within 1 inch of an enemy, and 1 inch of that model that is within 1 inch of an enemy can attack. So it's very similar to 7th. It kind of symbolizes 2 ranks of people being able to fight. So you have your front row, and the guys behind them usually will be able to fight. Models with more than 1 attack can split those attacks between eligible targets. You do have to declare that before you roll any dice. So if I have a unit with 2 attacks, and he's within range of 2 units, maybe you charge him with something else, and go, okay, 1 attack into that unit, 1 attack into that unit. Models with more than 1 weapon and more than 1 attack can split between weapons and targets. Again, you declare this before your roll. So if I have something with a power sword and the fist, for example, I can declare, okay, the fist is going into that unit with 2 attacks, power sword is going into that unit with 3 attacks, right? And then I can roll those after I've declared that. You resolve it the same as shooting, so hit, wound, place the wounds, roll your saves, resolve damage. Then you make your consolidate move, which is the same as your pile-in. Now, so we'll deal with the weapon types here in a sec. Then you make your morale tests. Morale test is the same we've had it revealed before. It's your units lost, your models lost in a unit plus d6, and then for every point you are above your leadership, you remove another model from that unit. You do this at the very end of the turn. This is the last thing you do. You don't do this in every phase. This is everything at the very end of the turn. So your units you lost to shooting, your units that you lost in melee, are all kept track of and then tested at the end of the player turn. Transports as well. So we'll go back to here. Transports, a unit with all models within 3 inches after a move can embark. This cannot be affected by bubble abilities. So no longer you have to get the whole unit within 3 inches, not just one. You have to get everybody within 3 inches. If the transport is destroyed, roll a die for each model inside, and on a 1 that a model is just removed from play, it dies. Now, I like this better. Again, saves time. Okay, it explodes. Okay, everything in stride tank strength 4 hit. So, okay, they're all wounded. Okay, make a saving throw. Okay, make a leadership test. Make another leadership test. No, just roll a d6 for each model on a 1. They're dead. Done. You can set aside things you have special weapons or characters, or set aside certain dice for those. Roll for everything that's the same, just be sure. But units must disembark before a transport moves if you want them to. So no more embarking, moving the transport, and then disembarking. All models must finish within 3 inches of the transport when you disembark. If not, then your model is removed. So if you can't because you're surrounded by enemies or terrain or something like that, the models are just removed. Disembarked units can move, shoot, and charge and fight as normal, but they will count as moving even if they have just simply made them disembark move for the sake of heavy weapons, even if they don't do any more moves. So if they just are started in a rhino, for example, you move them, they disembark, your heavy weapons will count as moving and have their -1 to hit penalty. Okay, on to our weapons. So 7 different kinds of weapons have been revealed and special rules for them. Assault weapons can fire after advancing, but they are -1 to hit. So in the movement phase, okay, this guy's going to advance, roll, okay, gets 3 additional inches, boonk, and he's going to fire his assault type weapon with a -1 modifier. Normally, units that have advanced can't fire or charge. Heavy units with heavy weapons can fire after moving, not advancing, but moving, but are -1 to hit. We've known that one for a little while. Rapid fire weapons get 2 times shots within half range. Same old rapid fire rules. There is, however, no mention at all, in anything we've seen yet, of not being able to charge after you've shot with rapid fire weapons. That seems good. When they say melee was become more of a thing, if that is, keeps up being true, that I can charge you with my rapid fire weapons after shooting, that's why melee is going to become more of a thing. I'm just noticing I shaved my beard left. I'm sad. Grenades. 1 model in a unit with grenades can throw a grenade instead of shooting any single weapon. Because the grenades, if you followed along, they are pretty good. Pistol type weapons. They can fire even within 1 inch of a unit, but must shoot at the closest unit. Models with pistols must shoot with either the pistol or all other weapons. So like we know, they can shoot when they're engaged in close combat. But outside of that, you get your pistol or something else, not your pistol and everything else. So because of that, our Hellblaster seems really good, like we'll see in a second here. That's all our range special rules. Let's proceed. 2 more. This is the spoiled stuff. This is stuff people really want to see. Points cost, model cost. So we have our captain and our Gravis armor. You get 1 per unit. Obviously, he's a captain, his character. He's 98 points, and it does not include your weapons. What I want to know is, does the points here... Okay, so if you're playing a match play game or a game that uses points limit, you can use the following list to determine the total point cost of your army. Simply add together the point cost of all your models and the war gear they are equipped with to determine your army's total point value. So you have your Captain Gravis armor, is 98 points on his own, plus his weapons, right? Your Primaris Ancient is 1 point per unit, 63 points per model, plus his weapons. Primaris Lieutenants, you can get 1 to 2 per unit. They are 60 points apiece, plus their weapons. Intercessor Squads are 5 points. You get 5 models, 5 points. I thought that was a little weird. Are 5 models per unit and 24 points apiece. Interceptor Squads are 3 models per unit and 39 points per model. Plus their... do we have it on here? We don't actually have their weapon on here, but... And then Hellblaster squads are 5 points, 5 models per unit, and 23 points per model. Now the the Hellblaster squads are equipped with the Plasma Incinerator, so if we think about them, they're going to be 40 points a model. They're plus, I believe, their bolt pistols and grenades, which bolt pistol, auto bolt rifle are free, and bolt rifle are free. So we know what our Hellblaster squads. Your Hellblaster squad of 5 is going to cost 200 points. Done, because they can't really take any upgrades, as we see here. So our Hellblaster squad is a 10 power rating, so pretty good. The unit contains 4 Hellblasters and 1 Sergeant. They can move 6 inches, have weapon skill of 3+, ballistic skill of 3+, have strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks for a regular Hellblaster, 3 for the Sergeant, leadership of 7 on a regular Hellblaster, and 8 on a Sergeant. Each model is equipped with a Plasma Incinerator, bolt pistol, frag grenades, crack grenades. They have And They Shall Know No Fear, and Space Marine chapters. So the Plasma Incinerator is a 30-inch range weapon, rapid fire 1, so 2 shots within 15 inches, strength 7, AP modifier of -4, and does 1 damage each. They have the ability of each time a model fires a Plasma Incinerator, it can supercharge the weapon before firing. If it does so, increase the strength and damage of the weapon by 1 this turn. If you roll any hit rolls of 1 when firing a supercharged Plasma Incinerator, the firing model is slain as a result, as the weapon explodes. So super gets hot, basically. But even the weapon on its own, I'm more than happy with the weapon on its own. If I get 5 of these, if I'm within 15 inches of you, you're not going to have a good day. I'm hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s or 3s for sure, and with essentially no armor save. So that being said, so if we do our math, if we go back to this page, we look at our Hellblaster squad. Okay, 5 models per unit. So that's the points per model does not include their weapon, so it doesn't include the Plasma Incinerator. Because even if you think it does, do the math. 5 models at 23 points per model is 115 points for 5 of those guys. That's way too cheap. That is way too cheap. They told us that the Primaris Marines were going to have a very significant points cost compared to our regular Marines. So if we add the Plasma Incinerators to that, you get 40 points per model, which is the same cost as their Terminators. Like I said earlier, the Inceptor squads, basically, they're 39 points a model, plus their weapons. So they're going to be more than a traditional Terminator. So you are going to pay for your Primaris Marines. I heard somebody put it this way last night. We can see all the unit cards we want, right? That seems really good. The weapon's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, it's way OP. What are they doing? Until you see the points cost. The points cost and the PowerPoint cost are how they balance things. So if I told you something has ballistic skill 10, weapon skill 10, does 10 wounds automatically, hits on 2s, but it is the best model ever, but it costs 2,000 points. You're never going to be able to bring that in a regular game. That's your apocalyptic model only at that point, right? But if I tell you something like a Riptide, they changed Riptide, it hits on 5s now, it's on in ranged and close combat, they made it horrible now, but it costs 50 points only. You're going to be like, oh, okay, for 50 points, I can bring a lot of them, I might do that then still. So the points is really where they balance things like that. So somebody made, Matthew from Mini Wargaming, a definitely channel worth checking out if you guys haven't, made that point in a recent video of his, and I thought that was a really good point to make. Going forward, our Battle-Forged armies, you can mix detachments however you like going forward, and you'll see here in a minute why they said detachments are for any unit. So a unit can only belong to one detachment, so you can't have, if you have one unit of troops, it can only be part of one detachment, it can't be in both. That's been around for a little while, we've known that. You can have understrength units, so just say if I want to bring a squad of something, but oh crap, I lost one model, I only have 9, I don't have 10, what happened? You can bring it, you can still bring it, it's not against the rules to, but you do have to pay the points cost for as if you did bring the full unit. Same thing, they'll also take up their full regular battlefield roll. So you can't just, oh, well, okay, I'm going to subtract, I only brought 9 instead of 10, the min size is 10, I'm going to subtract, points per model, subtract that. No, you still have to pay the full cost, even if you don't have enough models. That's just kind of on you for not owning the full squad, which I can appreciate. You don't want somebody to bring, I brought one of everything, I have 120 different units on the table, that seems a little bit much. But it doesn't punish people for not owning models. GW, what? You don't have a full squad, you can't bring them at all. GW tell you don't have to buy more models if you don't want to. But of course, there's a little bit of a penalty, but it just makes sense. So these are all our detachments. We have all our detachments. First one we've seen, actually these first three we've seen, the patrol, battalion, and brigade detachment. Patrol detachment, we'll go over each of these quickly. You must bring 1 to 2 HQs and must bring 1 minimum to 3 troops. 0 to 2 elites, 0 to 2 fast attack, 0 to 2 heavy support, and 0 to 2 flyers. You may include 1 dedicated transport for each other choice. All units must be from the same faction, and your command benefits are nothing. Now, going forward, actually, also, all Battleforged armies start with 3 command points. So you don't start at 0, you start at 3 as long as your thing is Battleforged. And trust me, you can make any army you want Battleforged. Wait for it, I'll show you in a minute. You have your battalion detachment, which you must bring 2 to 3 HQs, 3 to 6 troops, and then you have the option of 0 to 6 elite, 0 to 3 fast attack, 0 to 3 heavy support, and 0 to 2 flyers. Dedicated transport, same thing. You may include 1 for each other choice. All units must be from the same faction, and you get plus 3 command points. Your brigade detachment, you must bring 3 to 5 HQ, 6 to 12 troops, 3 to 8 elites, 3 to 5 fast attacks, 3 to 5 heavy support, and 0 to 2 flyers. Same thing for dedicated transports, you may include 1 for each other choice. And your restrictions, all units must be from the same faction, and you get plus 9 command points for this. Now the ones we don't know. We have our unique slots going forward, so each slot will have its own detachment. You have your Vanguard detachment, which is 1 to HQ, minimum of 3 to 6 elites. So you want to bring an elite heavy army, you bring a Vanguard detachment, 0 to 3 troops, 0 to 2 fast attack, 0 to 2 heavy support, and 0 to 2 flyers. You may bring a dedicated transport for each other choice. All units must be from the same faction, and plus 1 command point. You have Spearhead detachment. 0, you want to bring a bunch of tanks. 1 to 2 HQs, and 3 to 6 heavy support. 0 to 3 troops, 0 to 2 elite, 0 to 2 fast attack, and 0 to 2 flyers. You may include 1 dedicated transport for each other choice. All units must be from the same faction, and you get plus 1 command point. And you have your Outrider detachment. So, okay, you have a White Scars army. Here's your detachment. You must have 1 to 2 HQs, minimum of 3 to 6 fast attack, 0 to 3 troops, 0 to 2 elites, 0 to 2 heavy support, and 0 to 2 flyers. You may include 1 dedicated transport for each other choice. All units must come from the same faction, and you get plus 1 command point. So these are our ones. So we get our Supreme Command Detachment. This is if you want to bring a bunch of HQs. You must include 3 to 5 HQs, 0 to 1 Lords of War, and 0 to 1 Elite. You may include 1 dedicated transport for each other choice. Sorry guys, excuse me. Still a little under the weather. Sorry. All units must be from the same faction, and you get plus 1 command point. You get a super heavy detachment as well, so you're a knight player, here you go. We knew about this one already though. You may include 3 to 5 Lords of War. That's it. All units must be from the same faction, and you get plus 3 command points for this detachment. You also have your Air Wing detachment, 3 to 5 flyers. All units must be from the same faction, you get plus 1 command point. Super heavy auxiliary detachment, 1 Lord of War. Done. You have a Baneblade, you want to bring it? Here you go. Restrictions, none. Command benefits, none. Fortification network, 1 to 3 fortifications. Restrictions, none. Command benefits, none. Then this is what I say when you have any army can be Battleforged, because you have this auxiliary support detachment. 1 of anything. 1 troop, 1 elite, 1 fast attack, 1 HQ, 1 heavy, 1 flyer, and 1 dedicated one dedicated transport. Restrictions: the detachment can only include a single unit. Command benefits: you get -1 command point. Note that unlike other detachments, you lose 1 command point for each auxiliary support detachment in your army. These are deducted from your total after adding up all other bonuses from all other sources. So you want to bring a bunch of singles, you can, but you will basically have no command points to use during the battle. I like this. It just lets anybody with any models play a game, right? Maybe you don't get the command benefits, but that's more for the match play, for the competitive side of things. So if you're cheesing a little bit with a bunch of detachments, because you can bring as many of those auxiliary detachments as you want, you will get fewer command points if you can't somehow fit into those other detachments. Alright, so last thing we're going to get into for this video, that is all of the rule stuff. Now, if you're a Blood Angels player, stay tuned. I'm sure you've seen this already if you're a dedicated Blood Angels player, but so the galaxy got split in half by a giant warp rift. Baal's on the other side. Baal Ball, whatever you want to call it. It's on the other side. Not good news for Blood Angels, right? High fleets coming in. So here's what happened to Baal. We're going to read this like one of the lore videos. After sacrificing the shield worlds of the Cryptus system to fend off the Xenos' earliest advance, the planet of Baal itself came under intense attack by High Fleet Leviathan. The Tyranid fleet was of such mass, even after its considerable losses, that it blotted the stars from the skies. Lord Commander Dante bolstered the formidable defenses of the Blood Angels' homeworld and her moons like never before. Never one to await attack, he also sent forth scores of preemptive strike forces to delay, mislead, and whittle down the living armada. Hundreds of splinter fleets were thus defeated. Dante's call, beseeching the Blood Angels' successors to send immediate aid to their parent chapter, did not go unheeded. The Flesh Terrors were the first to arrive, and ultimately all the successor chapters, save the Lamenters, answered. Even the Knights of Blood, who had been declared excommunicate traitores by the High Council of Terra, arrived to bolster the defenses. It was still not enough. Learning at an exponential rate, High Fleet Leviathan could not be thwarted by the same strategy twice. Advancing steadily, their superior numbers cleared the sector of life before the Xenos made planetfall upon Baal and her twin moons. The first 19 waves, each larger than the last, were driven off at a great loss to the Blood Angels and their successor allies. 5 chapter masters fell in that bitter fighting, 3 in the battle at the Dome of Angels alone. The Tyranids began the process of draining Baal and her moons, absorbing even the rad-poisoned deserts of Baal Secundus. With their defenses in ruin and the moon stripped and broken, the remaining Space Marines retreated back to the rubble of the Blood Angels' sprawling fortress monastery. There they prepared for a last stand as the next wave swept downwards. Doom, it seemed, had at last come to the sons of Sanguinius. It was then that the great rift cracked open the galaxy, and the withered Baal system was blasted by the aetheric storms. Although no further attack waves came from the Leviathan fleet, not a single Imperial defender remained alive upon the last moon, Baal Prime. On Baal itself, there were already enough Tyranids there to destroy the Imperial troops many times over. Even with no chance of victory, Commander Dante led his troops, each fighting retreat seemingly more hopeless than the last. As the final perimeter was broken, the stars reappeared, looking skywards. The Tyranids sought contact with their high fleet, but it was gone, replaced by a newly arrived Imperial fleet. Like an angel of vengeance came Rabute Guilliman and his crusade. After many more battles, Baal was finally cleared of the Xenos threat. A great rebuilding of both world and chapter was undertaken, for the Blood Angels and their successors were sorely needed elsewhere. What became of Leviathan is a mystery, although a clue was found upon the now barren moon of Baal Prime. Xenos skulls were piled impossibly high in the much reviled, 8-pillared symbol of one of the Blood Angels' most terrible and ancient nemesis, the Bloodthister, Ka Banda. So, interesting news for all your Blood Angel players, yes. So, that's our video for today. Thanks for sticking around with us for so long if you did. Lots of new spoilers. These are legitimate spoilers. These are right leaks. Like, these were not put by GW. If these are all wrong, I apologize, and I will take this video down if this is all proven wrong, but hopefully this is all legit. I mean, just get some more rules. In my opinion, what GW should do is come out, own this, own it, say, you know what, all this is from the book, this is all legit. Because really, it just gets people more excited about the game, right? So just come out and say that. If it's true, that's what I think they should do anyway. So if, again, last couple notes, but that's all the stuff for the new book for today. But last couple notes, if you are in the Mess and Hat area, or on June 17th, don't forget to come out to Comic Readers on Railway Avenue. We'll be having our Warhammer 40k 8th edition release day event, playing a bunch of 8th edition, having a bunch of fun. Bring your models if you want. I'll be bringing all mine, so you'll have some Chaos, Space Marines, Necrons, and a little bit of Demons to use. If you don't have any, feel free to come down as well and use mine. I'll be there. You can come say hi. Don't forget, if you haven't commented on a video yet or subscribed, we will be drawing on June 17th for the core rulebook and the 5 index books that we'll be giving away. So you want to comment on this or any other Warhammer video on this channel and subscribe to be entered in for that. Make sure your subscriptions are set to public so that I can see you've subscribed. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed all this. I had tons of fun making this for you. I stayed up late last night, a little tired, if you couldn't tell, a little under the weather too. But hopefully you guys have an awesome day, awesome weekend, and remember, as always, the Emperor protects.